Hi, this is Mr. Evans. This business looked at using non-financial data to assess performance, and in fact it's going to be the first in a series of videos looking at what other data we can use to assess the performance of a business. We've moved on to this section of the specification 3.7.3, and this is all really about contributing to our SWOT analysis. Okay, so the SWOT analysis, if you remember, is part of this cycle here of setting a mission statement, setting our corporate objectives, creating a strategy, and then going around about implementing plans and reviewing success. Well, a really important part of this process is understanding where is the business now, what are its strengths and weaknesses. And in the previous section, we were looking at the use of financial data to assess performance. Then this next bullet point here asks us to assess data other than the financial statements to assess strengths and weaknesses of a business. So what I've done is I've gone through the specification and I've picked out all of the non-financial ways that we can assess the strengths and weaknesses of a business. So remember, our SWOT analysis is a tool used for strategic planning that involves analysing a business's internal resources and its external environment. So what we're trying to do, we've calculated the ratios. We know maybe that our strength is that we provide a good return on capital employed. A weakness is that we're highly geared. But as we were saying when we were analysing the ratios, well, that's only financial information. It doesn't tell us about marketing. It doesn't tell us about operations, etc. So we need to get a better picture of the organisation's strengths and weaknesses. We need to look into the other functional areas and see how they're performing. Now, these performance measures are all taken from the Unit 3.1, what is business? Now, you could argue that survival is not going to be something that you're going to put in the SWOT analysis. A strength is that we've survived. Well, maybe you would, but it's worth just reminding you that this is something that AQA states is a performance objective of a particularly new businesses. Okay, growth, that could be a strength or a weakness of a business. So how can we measure growth? Well, we could measure an increase in sales revenue, arguably that's financial, an increase in customers, an increase in the asset base, i.e. are we opening new branches, are we opening new shops, are we operating abroad now, or an increase in the number of employees. Okay, so you could argue that it might go down on the SWOT analysis. Yes, we've grown the number of customers by 10% this year. Okay, profit and cash flow are financial measures, I know that, but they are stated as business measures of success. Okay, profit is a measure of the ability of a business to survive in the long term. So, moving from if a new business was profitable, I would definitely put that down as a strength if I were doing a SWOT analysis. In terms of cash flow is related to liquidity, and often it's actually more important than profit. Okay, so if you produce a cash flow forecast for the coming year and it's predicting that you're going to have the cash flow coming in to meet the your predicted outflows, then that again would go down for me as a strength on my SWOT analysis. The final objectives that are stated in Unit 3.1 are social and ethical ones. Now, if I'm measuring the strength of my business, I might want to say that my net emissions are falling. We're reducing the amount of carbon that we're emitting. This could be a marketing point. We're increasing the amount of waste that we recycle. Okay, we had 0 accidents on our site with our workforce or whatever. Now this is important because CSR is becoming it's actually now a legal requirement, and it's becoming a source of competitive advantage for many businesses. So a modern business looking to operate in the world at the moment will want to consider what are its strengths around its social and ethical objectives, what are its weaknesses, where can it improve, and then look to match them to opportunities in the environment. Okay, so I'll have a look at some of the other methods that we can use to assess performance in the next videos.